Just a tad bit. Hello, everybody. I think we live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. I am your host. It is 2022. This is the first show of the year. I hope everyone is having a wonderful start to their year. I have my sister on tonight, Shamise Lady Jacobs. Shamise Lady Jacobs. SJ Speaks. How you doing, sis?
I'm well. I cannot complain. I will not complain. Life is good.
Good.
I'm well.
I hear that. That sounds wonderful. Before we even get started, I want to let everybody know my sister does have a book that she published. How long ago was this published?
That was done in 18. I got two on the way this year.
Yep,
Bear with me.
2018.
Bear with me.
And you wanna grab this, y'all, if you can. I think is it available on Amazon, sis?
It's on Amazon. I always got them on me. If you catch me out, just ask about it.
Absolutely. You guys want to pick it up. It's a wonderful book of poems in there.
Thank you.
And Shamise is one of my favorite poets from my hometown.
Thank
So
you.
it's a pleasure to have you on the show again and to
Listen.
build with you and do the things that we're doing. First off, you know what? I want to talk about the RV project real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shamise had an event a month or two ago, and I was able to be there. And the experience that I had at that event, since it was really like I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. Like I was expecting to had know it was going to be something impactful,
Mm-hmm.
but I had no idea that it was going to, like, the way everyone opened up and just
Yeah.
shared their
Yeah.
stories and stuff.
Yeah.
That shit was, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It really
I'm
was.
glad that you one, thank you for showing up for me. As you always do, and I will always show up for you. Um but I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad that you had the experience that you had. I know everybody's experience was different, but I've got nothing but great feedback,
Yeah.
you know. So we definitely gonna keep running those back.
But talk to me about that though. What is that, and how did you come about in creating the RV project?
So the RVA project initially was created when I went through the process of publishing my book. Self-publishing can really be a lot of work.
Right.
But I was fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to afford it out of pocket and it not break the bank. And same as with my first two projects, I did two spoken word albums back in '09. Um, and I've always had like just a really supportive tribe. So it was easy for me to do these things. But I thought about all of the artists who may need their 15 minutes. They just might need that break and some backing. And I said, I want to back artists who have the same drive that I have, but not the backing. And I'm really into event planning, especially when it comes to entertainment. Um, Coordinating and bringing things together. I am really big on you give me a vision and I'm going to bring it to fruition. You tell me what it is you need. I'm going to dig in my bag of tricks and we're going to make it happen. So I just, thought like how can I get these people their 15 minutes in the limelight? And then the idea was to make it the gift that keeps on giving. So yes, it's the RVA project, but I initially was pronouncing it like river, just to keep the support flowing.
Right.
So it's the RVA stands for recognize, visualize, actualize, because I do believe that anything that happens up here, you can see out here. You just got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was moved to coach. I've been doing it for free for so many years.
Right.
And by their word, helped so many people just having conversations.
Right.
And I knew a few years back, I loved my coworkers. I hated my job. I wanted out. I wanted to do what was filling to my soul. I wanted to feel fulfilled and for work to not feel like work. And Spirit said move. And I was like, you sure? Like this right now?
Right.
Because I don't know. And Spirit said, no, you want to coach, move. Do it. Say so. Be a coach. And I said, well, I've been doing this for free so long. When I tell people they're going to have to pay for these services, I don't know how this is about to go. And I don't know how this is about to, I don't know. But you know what? I put it out there, and nobody had an issue with it. In fact, it was a whole lot of why did it take you so long
Mm-hmm.
to do this? Overwhelming response, clientele off the bat, and here we are. So I said, well, how can we make the RVA project uh one entity, one umbrella? And it's the same theory. When people come for coaching services, it's I need to get ahead and I don't know how to get ahead. I need to get out of this space. Recognize, visualize, actualize. How can we get you out of this space? How can we get you walking in your next season the way that you need to be upright? And what can I do for you? It's the same love, different services. So now it's all one big umbrella, and I'm grateful for all the support, every which way it comes.
That's awesome, sis. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel you on, especially the part where you were just talking about, like, when you get the vision and you're kind of struggling with it, like, is this what you really showing me that I need to be
Mm-hmm.
doing? Because I don't know about this, and I had a issue myself with being afraid to see who was going to support this, who was going to support that. And after
Mm-hmm.
a while, over the last few years, I've realized that it's just working the vision. Like you say, when he gives us the vision, that we work the vision, build a brand, do what we need to do on
Yep.
our end,
Yep.
everything else will come into fruition.
It
You
will.
Everything else will
You
come into
work.
fruition. Right,
If you pay attention to my hashtags, my one I always use is work for your win. If it's for you and you do the work, you're gonna get it every time, undeniably every time, even if it takes a while. But you
right.
gotta work for your win. You can't. It's no days off. I always say, no fear, no retreat. You gotta keep going. But
That's a
it's
problem
a
too,
blessing.
because a lot of people want it quick. They want,
It
they
don't
want it
happen like
quick.
that.
Right. You
It
know what
don't
I
happen
mean?
like that.
Exactly. You definitely have to put the work in. You know what I mean? One of the biggest inspirators as far as acting in my life just passed away, Sidney Poitier, and his like drive and the way that he approached things that he did was inspiring to me, because
Yeah.
it just let me know that you got to keep going, you got to be relevant, you got to be consistent. You know what I
Yep.
mean? He had movies from what, 50s, 60s, all the way up until probably the late 2000s. You know what I mean? And just grow. And it's nothing wrong with learning every day too. I'm
Mhm.
realizing you got to
Mhm.
constantly look for new stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, but that's a wonderful project that you're doing. I mean, it's
Thank you.
really I felt wonderful I felt great when I got there, because the atmosphere was wonderful.
Isn't
And
it
then when I
lovely?
left, yes, and when I left, I was even more of a had more of a joyous feeling, because it just felt good to get, it felt like everybody was being able to release some stuff. And a lot of us didn't even know each other, and we just sharing
Mhm.
stuff and putting it in the atmosphere,
Mhm.
and then supporting each other in the
Yes.
same
Yes.
sentence.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. So I commend you on that, sis,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Um, so you've been writing poetry now for I know quite some time, right?
Since I was 12.
Since you were 12.
I've been performing since I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what? Okay. So, again, I always say poetry, is what saved me and inspires me and things like that. But what would you say? Because you've been on here before, so I kind of remember some of the things you told me about what inspires you. But what
Mhm.
would you say to the young lady who may be watching this that's from Baltimore, Maryland? She could be from any urban suburb community
Mhm.
across the country. What would
Mhm.
you say to her that that will help her in writing, because a lot of people are afraid to write and share their feelings, right? I
Mhm.
know a few people who are really talented, but no one knows it because
No
they
one knows.
they won't share it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what would you say to that young lady who is struggling with, her purpose and what she does in her writing and how she wants to present herself?
I would tell her to start where she is and and present herself as is. I say that because at 16, my mom walked me into an open mic, and honestly, I was just like overwhelmed in a good way with the atmosphere. So my first open mic was at Organic Soul when it was down on Saratoga Street. And even at 16, I was an old soul. So I was really into the whole neo soul movement. But because I was so young, I was the only person really that I knew at that age that was moving like that and dressing the way that I was dressing and had the mindset that I had. So walking into this space and I see 10 and 15 other women who look like me.
Right,
I'm like, wow, okay. And then I'll never forget, before I went on, I had memorized my poem. It sounded real good. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Before I went on, there's an artist here by the name of B Fly. She's so fucking dope. She raps. She does art curator. She's everything. B Fly. Y'all get familiar if you don't know her. But she went on and she killed. She killed. And my 16-year-old self said, ain't no way I'm about to go up there behind her. No way.
right,
Like, damn this poem. I looked at my mother like, I think I might be ready to go home.
right.
Like they and then at an open mic, the artists really don't know when we're gonna call them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So they called me up next. Back then I was Blackberry Lady. And I was like, shit. And I got up there, nerves and all. I did this piece. But because I knew what I felt when I wrote the piece, and I knew why it was important for me to get this out. When I thought about that, closed my eyes, nobody else was in the room. I got into my piece. I killed.
Mm-hmm.
I, that night, people knew who I was leaving at 16.
Right.
And I was just expressing myself. The poem, if I'm not mistaken, was like for a boyfriend or something. I don't know. It was a love piece,
Mm-hmm.
probably too deep for a 16-year-old to write, and that's why it resonated with everybody. But I locked in. I locked into myself on that stage. So for a young lady who wants to be out there but doesn't know how to appro- approach the mic and leave yourself on the stage. Be in your zone. Yeah, people are there, but ain't nobody else got to be there. Wherever you were when you wrote that piece, go back to that place and let that be your safe haven until you feel safe on the stage and you know people are watching, because it takes some time. Um, I like to think, not toot my own horn, but humbly speaking, I've always been a really great writer. Going and doing open mics and performing shaped my stage presence, my delivery, watching some of my favorite artists. Um, and then other things like I'm, heavily influenced by music. So hip hop, like I'm a lady all day long. I will get on the stage in a nice tight ass skirt, and when I start speaking, all the gangster up under this crown gonna come out, and it's then suddenly I become a dude in a dress, but it
Right.
happens, and I'm okay with it. But you learn yourself on that stage when you love what you do, and I love what we do. I think that what we do is really God's gift to people who can't find what they need in a church house, in
Mm.
a and we are gifted. So own it, be
Mhm.
in it.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful right there, sis. You right about that. That's powerful right there, and I do love it too. It's a great feeling to have something, and for me, it's crazy because I feel like I'm just starting to get into my writing and like settle down and see my purpose for what it is and
Mhm.
believe in the purpose
Mhm.
that I believe that he has for me, right? Because that's not easy in itself. You gotta believe, you know what I mean? um
Definitely.
so with writing, I never really had the time because I was working, I got family, things of that nature. But when
Mhm.
things slowed down in my life and I was forced to make a change, it's wonderful to know that I've found something other than spirituality or going to a church and stuff that really dug in deep with me, where I
Mhm.
could take a pen, right, and be angry, happy, heartbroken, whatever, and put it on paper and then not only read it to myself, try to get it to where I want it, and then share it. And
Mhm.
all you need is one person,
To listen.
one,
Yep.
just one person to say,
Yep.
you know what? I feel that shit you just did. You know what I mean? Um, it's nothing like it. You know what I mean? It's nothing
Mhm.
like it. I wonder, I just, I went through a lot of I went through a big transition when I talk about my book Unusual Favor. But
Mhm.
if I didn't go through all of that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And I always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be able to, put myself in a book, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, poetry, whatever, and present it to the world. I was
Mhm.
inspired by one of my late uncles had published a book, I believe in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And my dad shared that with me. And that was one thing that inspired me as a young man back then, because
Mhm.
we were into football sports. We did all of that physical shit. You know what I mean? But the inspiration that was given from him telling me, yeah, well, your uncle, and I looked up to all my uncles on both sides.
Mhm.
Oh, man,
Mhm.
their flaws, I don't give a shit, right?
Right.
But I knew them for who they were as men. So that was nothing but an inspiration for me as a young man. So, I piggyback on what you said, to trust yourself and trust your craft and just go for it. Don't worry about the backlash, because you're going to get backlash regardless. Doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So you're going to get that regardless. But be true to yourself and share your gift that God has given you.
Mhm.
I would say definitely too. So, without further ado, I would love to get into some poetry, 'cause I know you got some fire. You know what? Tomorrow is Thursday, and that's Vibes and Verses. I'm gonna get you to talk about that too after that,
Yes.
after poetry, because I know you got a lot of stuff in your vault, so I know you don't want to share everything. Because
No,
tomorrow,
I ain't gonna share everything because I definitely got some stuff for the people tomorrow. But I got. Listen, let me tell you, because I write, and so let me say that none of my writing is for anybody else. My writing is for me. It is therapy, because some some stuff, oddly enough, in I total transparency, some
mhm,
stuff I don't like to hear come out my own mouth.
me too.
You know what I'm saying? Some
Yep,
stuff I don't want to, certain admissions, I don't want to hear that come out of my own mouth. But when I put it on paper, it's said, I can see it, I can deal with it. And so I write for therapy. That's my therapy. I just so happen to have been moved to share it with people, and y'all happen to like it. But guess if people didn't, it's okay because I did it for me,
right.
But yeah, it's therapy. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I actually sometimes go through old books because I have binders of
Mhm,
poetry.
mhm,
Um, and I never forget when I was in, like I said, I started writing at 12, but I lost like a folder in a notebook of poetry when I was in like eighth grade, in the eighth grade year, and I cried for days.
Yeah.
Because I felt like all my words were gone, all my poems were gone, my short stories. I'm never going to write another thing. And a friend of mine at the time, young, and now I know how powerful those words are, but back then I wasn't trying to hear that shit. I lost my work. But she said, you'll write more poems.
Right.
You'll write more poems. And I was just like, but those were my poems. Like they felt like the only ones I had in me. Um, and now at almost 35, I have binders of stuff that nobody will ever see because I write. I don't. Some of the poems in Holiday I wrote back in '09, '08, '07. They just so happen to still be relevant in 2018. So we're gonna put them in this chapter right here because it works. But yeah, I got stuff. We ain't worried about tomorrow's poems or tomorrow's poems. I got stuff.
I know you do. I know you do. So whatever you want to share, my space is a safe space. We say what we want on here. This is art, and I love to be able to share the way that. Well, I love to be able to share with the freedom that I have on here. Shout out to Lady J and her son Art. For me to be able to share the way that I want to do things on my show. I have
Yeah.
no issues, and I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
So, whenever you're ready to share, I'm all ears.
Okay, so here's the old one that I have had to go back to because of new situations. And it's called High Traffic. It almost made the book. Um,
It almost made Holiday, or you have a second book
it
coming.
almost made Holiday. It might make the next one.
Okay,
It might. Jury's still out on that one.
right.
But, High Traffic. Y'all bear with me. I'm reading from a computer screen. Um, Warning. Severe mood swings may occur. Slippery roads ahead. Take a detour. She's closed for repairs. No room in the inn, no vacancies there, only danger minds. So tread lightly where you walk. Enter slowly and watch for gate arms. Sensitive senses be insensitive to charms. In case of emergency, ring the alarm. Can't even say it's safe to steer right. She cries often at night. And slippery floors suggest tripping hazards, so proceed with caution and yield to love her, for her heart lends you no leeway. The road's narrow. Proceed slow and don't tailgate. Though it be easier to try to get into her panties instead of her heart, it's unsafe, so keep out. And know the trespassers will be prosecuted. Warning, her love is like curvy roads ahead, unstable cliffs, so steer clear. Sign on her heart reads restricted area here. Stop if you're thinking about prying. She's no open handbook, so once you're in, there are no U-turns. Best thing to do is do not enter. There is no parking. You have gone the wrong way from the moment you say hello. She doesn't do two-way streets and only acknowledges green lights, but warning, loving her is a no-go. She is bumper to bumper, rush hour gone wrong, emotional wreck, head-on collision at the climax of a sad song, movie scene drama where you hope everyone makes it. She is high noon traffic. Coffee drinkers and cigarette smokers can't take it. She is missing exits and making wrong turns. She is GPS giving out in a city you haven't learned. She is a steep decline. You'd be liable to slide. Woman's a hell of a ride. She is high traffic. Check behind her smile for warning signs. So that's High Traffic.
I love it. I love it. I
Thank
love it.
you.
Hot traffic. Okay, so let me. Okay, so hot traffic. Okay. First of all, how did you come up with the name? Talk to me about that first.
Um,
Do you you know, have a title in your head first and then you write it, or do you write the body and then come up with a title after?
the body and then the title.
Okay.
The body and then the title.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I wrote that, the space that I was in, I was on some fuck love kick. I wasn't feeling it, and I don't remember where I was going. But wherever I was going, I was in the, of course, riding, and I'm watching the street signs, and it was the steep incline sign. I was in Arizona at the time, going up into the mountains for a camping trip. And I was like, damn, yes, okay, because this is dangerous. Like, love is dangerous. And right now, the space that I am in, and it's crazy because I was engaged at the time. I was like, he might want to pull out of this one because I'm not in a place to be loved on. I got a lot going on up here. I got a lot going on in here. Like, it's busy. This is a lot. And it just made me think of like high traffic. And I feel like when you are trying to get home because you have worked all day and you are stuck in bumper to bumper traffic, that shit makes you think of everything in the world you hate and you just want to out of it. You just want to be free from it. And so I said, yeah, I feel like that right now. I feel like everything is happening and everybody is too close. And I just don't want to be in this space. It's like freaking rush hour traffic right now going on in my head. So yeah. And I had to revisit it because I'm like ready to be loved on now. And I said, oh, I've come a long way since this poem.
Right.
You know. So yeah, it may make the next one. It almost made holiday.
You said danger. You said something to the fact of danger zone, but the smile don't beware of what's behind the smile, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of times we gotta put on a face. You know what I mean? People don't realize how often that face has to be put on. It's
Yep.
almost every day, just
Every
like we wear these goddamn
every day.
masks. You
Every
know what I
day.
mean?
Listen.
When you think about that, it's crazy, but it's the truth. You
Yeah.
know, some of us have things going on inside us, inside our head, things that we're fighting with. Some of us refuse to deal with demons and shit that we got going on that
Yep.
know is there, but we
Yep.
refuse to deal with it. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Um, so I feel you on that because a lot of times we got to put on this face,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times a sad clown is what you feel inside or some shit
Yep.
like that. But high traffic, I love it. That's I love the name for that, the concept. It's amazing how things just come to you know,
Yeah.
in your everyday life. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Sometimes I struggle with coming up with titles or poetry to write, even my short stories and stuff. Sometimes I
Mhm.
stress myself out too much and overthink
Mhm.
so much shit. And I'm like, I'm trying to sit here and write, and I got 85 other things going on. So for one, I can't even focus on trying to create. Regardless, I can smoke, whatever. It ain't, I still have to stop everything else and just focus in on the writing, if that's what I'm trying to
Mhm.
accomplish. You know what I mean? But I love when stuff like you just said, you're riding along and you just gazing out the window looking at,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, the world,
Yep.
and you come up with that
Yeah.
fast with that feeling to come up with something like that. That's a good feeling when that meshes together, because that
Yeah.
right there, just everything just intertwined right there. High
Yeah.
trap, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, I love it. I love it. That's really good there. High traffic. I like that one.
Thank
Um,
you.
so
And
what?
let me tell you this real quick while it's at the front of my head.
Uh,
So going back to the workshop, I had
mhm.
never heard that piece you did before. I never heard you do that before.
All that shouting.
I
That's
never
what I
heard it.
did.
Listen,
Wow.
don't ever almost make me cry again in front of people, bro. Like, listen, it was so, and then your delivery of it, it was,
Mhm.
that was a moment.
That was all that shouting isn't. They say all that shouting isn't necessary. And Shamise, I'm gonna tell you some shit. That out of everything that I've got, that is one of my top three, not five. My top three.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of poetry. I really started getting into it wholeheartedly maybe 2015, 2016.
Hmm.
you know. Um, but that poem, is something that I wrote that shit came to me so easy, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I know that
that
feeling. I know that feeling. Yeah.
that shit really did scare me. And
That's when you know, yes.
at the time, I was heavily um in church. Like I said at the workshop, I was broken. I was going through some shit. I
Mm-hmm.
was broken as a man,
Mm-hmm.
and I started diving into religion. I was reaching for. I was on a life raft, just reaching
Mm-hmm.
for shit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed onto that, and that went on for a few years. And you know, I was having things were being shown to me naturally. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, damn, you know. And then to fast forward, one day, um, I came home from church and I wrote this poem. I was messed up, and my wife, because she wrote a song. Unusual Favor started as a song,
Shut
not
up,
the
for real?
not the book. It started as a song. My wife,
Dang.
my wife Shalonda wrote that song and released that in 2014. My whole idea back then was shit. I can let's promote it whereas though whatever I'm doing, because at that time I wasn't working, I was going through disability, so I
Mm-hmm.
was writing, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can center my writing around that, thinking I'm going to help her promote her song, and it turned
Mm-hmm.
into what we doing now. You know what I mean? So, but back to the like that poem really, um, that's my poem to share what I went through in my life. That was so different from me that I didn't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my way of sharing. It's like a 3-minute poem, right? Um, and like I said, it scared me, right? The first time I shared it was at the church that I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
And that is another thing that just gave me chills and scared me, because the reaction
Mm-hmm.
after
Mm-hmm.
that church that I was a part of, it's a how you say it, it's a foot stomp and all that. Like they get it
Mm-hmm.
out, they do all of that. They release, they get it in. And when
Yeah.
I read that poem, it did, it scared me. I ain't gonna lie. And these are people that I know a lot of them, so I know they not faking or bullshitting. Like
Yeah.
I see them,
Yeah.
I know them.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
conversations with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
to see the reaction, I was like, oh shit, I really felt to self what I said to myself right then and there. I said, God, I see what you this is, so I got something here, huh? This is what
Mm-hmm.
you want me to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is how you want me
That
to
was
do
your
it. I'm going
aha
through
moment.
all of this.
It was your
I'm going through
aha moment. Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through all of this shit
Mm-hmm.
because you want me to do this.
And you
And
gotta
that
answer the call. You gotta answer the call. You have to. You have to. Or it nags you. It
mm,
is unsettling when you don't answer the call. But yeah, I said, wait a minute, damn it, because I just wanted to hear my brother speak. I was wait a damn minute. Now he got the eyes getting a little moist. Now we ain't not doing this today. It wasn't for my eyes. Listen, because the work I had already did the work I was bringing for everybody else to do. We're not gonna
mhm,
crash the beat.
right,
On
right.
it. But no, I loved it. It was a moment, and everybody in the room locked in.
Mhm.
Everybody in the room locked in. And I loved it. Like I was like, I've never heard that piece before. Feel free to run that shit back anytime for me because yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of my favorite ones. It is. I'm gonna run it before the show is over. Tonight, and I'll definitely do it tomorrow. And I'll definitely do that
Please
for you
and
tomorrow.
thank you. I love it.
But
I
yeah,
love it.
that poem saved me though. Like it
Yeah.
saved me. It helped me in so many different ways. And back when I first wrote it, the first time I shared it on Facebook, I
Mm,
only shared it on there because I was going through something. I was depressed. I was sitting outside. I never forget it. I was sitting outside of social services.
mm,
This was 20 shit 15, like no, 2016, 2017. And I was so upset about the shit that I was dealing with, because I never experienced nothing like that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't.
Yeah.
So as an adult and dealing with it, I'm like, oh shit, like how I'm gonna pay my mortgage, my car notes, I got a family, all that. And before I got out the car to go into this treacherous building, where it's another whole story in there, because it's off the hook in that. It's
Yep.
off the hook in there.
Yep.
So I had already been reciting that poem over and over and over and over. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can do it on this live real quick without fucking it up and going all the way through.
Yeah.
And I shared it, and I almost came to tears through a little bit of it, but I got through it. Right. I went in the social services building. I was in there for like 8 hours. Right. Because this was early in the morning. When I left, I get in the car. I'm coming down North Avenue, hitting a couple lights, and I'm looking at my phone. I wasn't supposed to be, but I'm gonna be honest. And I saw some of the response from friends and family and people that know me, right? Not people that don't know me on Facebook, people who know John, responding to that poem that I wrote. That shit, I said, God, like it changed everything. It just messed me up. You know what I mean? I thank God every day for the gifts and abilities that He gives all of us. All, you know. So, all right, sis, let me hear something else from you. I know you.
See what else I got. Let me see what else I got. I've been working on so much new stuff. I have a new I don't want to say muse, but I don't know, I just caught a new wind in these last couple of months. So I've been because you gotta understand, with everything that I have going on all the time, writing for me, I never have been the type to sit and type out poems. Any poems that are typed out are meant to go into a book. I like pen and pad. But I'm so always kind of on the move that I've grown very fond of tapping in notes in my phone. So it's all kinds of pieces of poems in my phone, and I'm connecting this, and it's a whole process. But yeah, I got a lot of new stuff.
But that's a good. But before you recite that, you said something that's crazy, because I can't explain that feeling either. It's something that it feels like it's something that just comes over you, and you like, everything I'm putting down is right. When everything is just meshing, everything is right, everything is coming together. Sometimes I sit and I want that feeling, and I
and it
can't
don't come when
catch
you
it.
want it though.
I
It don't
can't
come when
catch it.
it don't come when you want it.
I'm sitting there and I'm trying to write, and I'm like, this shit don't even make no sense. I read it back to myself, like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But that feeling of when you know, and when you feel it inside, like, this shit is clicking. It's nothing like it.
I literally had one of those moments earlier, looking at something, reading something that I was tapping in, and I don't know if I got distracted or what, but I got to the end and I was like, what the hell were you even talking about, Shamise? Like, what? But I know when I go back to it, it's gonna make all the sense in the world and be like, oh, this is what I wanted to do with this. But yeah, I have those moments often. But I don't know, these last few months, because I go through heavy droughts where I don't have nothing creative in me, not a song, not a dance, because I do a little bit of everything. Everybody is familiar with me as a poet, but I have a background in dance. I've taken acting classes. I was really passionate about acting before. Playwrights. I have plays I'm sitting on. I guess I'll do something with them one day. Um, I'm probably sitting on 3 or 4 novels. They'll get published one day. I don't know. But poetry is my first love. Poetry is, I don't know, it's my language. Even down to just conversation. People be like, okay, poet. And I'm just like, what? Like, it's how I speak.
Right.
It's literally a part of my makeup. Sometimes my words rhyme. Sometimes I'm just talking regular, and they like, damn, that was deep. And I was just like, but I said X, Y. It's not deep to me. It's how I speak. It's part of me. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll give y'all this little unfinished joint. It's growing to be one of my favorites, though. All right. Looking at my phone this time, y'all.
Okay.
So bear with me again. See, I know this brother, and he's fine as hell. I'd be lying if I said that I can help myself. When he's around, he give me fever like I be hot as hell. Warm in places I dare not tell, and he knows me well. Breaking me out my shell, introducing me to some things and showing me to myself. Taking me to new levels, he make me curse and yell. I be down and up about him, he my heaven and hell. But I would do anything for his love, like there's some kind of spell. I can't crack the code, don't want to free myself. So I read myself inside of love songs and poems. I used to hide my brokenness behind bars and breakbeats, but he is the jazz I find in hip hop, finally feeling whole, whole like he's my piece. And last piece I wrote, he my soft spot between hard place and he my rock, he my doctor, feel good. He go hard for me. My mouth be slick. He check me like mate. He time enough for me. He like clocking my moves before I move. He my God. He on watch, making sure I'm always ready for the bullshit when it knocks. He on guard. That's my dog. On guard. That's my nigga. That's my dog. But the king like niggas. He the realest. This is a love poem written by a dope queen, and I hope he feel this or see himself in these lines. I call out his name inside this verse. I hope he hear it 3 times. Hope he see himself as lyric. Hope he know he hot 16 over 6 beat. And that's where I stopped. I'm gonna finish it at some point. Thank
Damn.
you, Cassandra.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Cassandra, for tuning in. I love it. That damn, Shamise. Damn. You know, I listen, I frequent what's the name of this shit? I haven't been on that long. Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse. So I go in whenever I can, whenever I'm on that, because there's so many different rooms and so many crazy shit that go. There's a lot of conversations, there's some
I
weird shit that
heard.
goes on. Right?
Somebody recently said I should check it out.
Yeah, it's very entertaining and it's good. I love it for the poetry part because I'm meeting people all over the country who, you know, who have the same love for poetry that we had. A lot of some of them got, you know, do the same things along the lines that we do, hosting things and have our own things going on. And to sit and listen to them do their poetry, and then at the end, everybody gives that feedback on how we felt about it or what it did for us from you sharing that. And I'm telling you, the love and the like camaraderie and the way people support each other on that is really beautiful.
I bet.
Really is. It's a beautiful thing. But I love it like for that instance though, I get to meet people, like I said. Right? So in the rooms they do poetry. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it could be all throughout the day. And I find myself either in the morning or some along the evening time. Depending on what my mood is, I'll go on there just to listen so it can help me. I do different things, like I meditate a hell of a lot now in the last 5 or 6 years.
Good.
Right? And that looks a lot of different ways. A lot of that is just being quiet, being still with nothing and just shutting up. Some of it is working out, some of it is walking. It's a bunch of different ways that I'm doing it. So being able to go on there and listen to that is something that's beautiful because it helps me and encourages me. It helps me to go on and, you know, even this interview that we're doing right now, knowing that you just said sometimes you go through droughts for months at a time. Look, that shit is so real, Shamise, because I'll say to my wife sometimes, like, babe, I don't have shit. And she just look at me like, what are you talking? I'm like, I haven't written nothing in months. I don't know. I got the same shit. I'm looking through my books like I can't create shit. I can't create. And it can be frustrating. You know what I mean? But knowing that we all go through some of these things in similar ways is something that lets you know, okay, well, I'm not the only one. Maybe I am right.
Not at all.
You know, maybe I am, maybe I'm hard on myself. That's another thing. You know, maybe I'm a little too hard on myself. So, I'm gonna share all that shouting for you before I give you a little bit more time to share some poetry. Then I want you to talk about this vibes and verses.
Yes, vibes and verses. And yes to all that shouting. Let's
Yeah.
go.
They say all that shouting isn't necessary. But what have they been through that's colder than that month of February? Shit, I'm talking about news that'll make your body ache. And it's out of your control, so you feel you gotta participate.
Mhm.
It was all good just a week ago. Now I'm in a doctor's office and they planning my treatment though. My work has come to a halt, but my bills, they longer than a tree stump. I stand in line for aid and assistance. All the while I feel I'm losing my existence.
Mm.
Lady behind that desk look at me as a stereotype, not realizing 96 hours prior I ran a work site. I feel like my back's against the wall, so I pick up the phone, but who the fuck do I call? I was stripped of everything with nothing to spare as I laid on that cold, hard table and stared in the air. God, is this it?
Mm.
Will I see my wife and kids again? If I die and my babies cry, who will make them grin again? My life was saved, though it was full of sin. My doctor said, take a few of these and your pain will come to an end. But
Mm.
no, I must keep going. There's no time to break. But my back's against the wall and the devil don't hesitate. When he came to me to convince me of my fate, I refused to be a victim and told him, clown, you too late. When I realized who brought me through it all, my vision, it became clear as he showed me a picture of it all. He said, son, didn't I tell you I would never let you fall?
Mm.
It was then I decided to serve him in the midst of it all. So if you see me go crazy or start to bang on a wall, it's my way of praising him because he brought me through it all. And
Mm. Come on, John.
yeah, that's my favorite.
Mm.
There. That shit is every time I recite it, it gives me a release and a relief of,
Mm.
it
And
really,
the first time it was the but my back's against the wall. I felt that shit in my chest on the 27th. I felt that. This time it was feeling like you losing your existence. That's heavy how when we're in a certain place, we're so far from society. I mean, we're in it, but because of where we are in our lives, we're so far removed
mhm,
that a situation that puts us in the number, in the count, back in the group, back in society can make you feel like you're not even here. You
mhm,
become a part of, like, I guess, this glob of people, this oneness that you didn't even realize you weren't a part of. And sometimes we think we're so in touch, we think we're so down because we got our ear to the street, we know what's going on, and we really so far removed
yeah,
until that's heavy. Keep sharing that one. I love
absolutely. I will.
I
When I
appreciate
when I when I share that
it.
in person with people,
Mm-hmm.
I like to emphasize that back against the wall because I bring it from my stuff. I'm married to a singer, first of all. Let's put that out there first. I'm married to a professional singer. So she stay on me about my delivery. And I love
Yes.
it because I've
Come on,
seen how
wife.
she's helped me grow in my shit. I ain't gonna
Come
lie.
on, help me.
So I I I naturally project without even knowing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sometimes I gotta remind myself to tone it down because when that shit hits you, hey, look, I'm a Taurus, I'm passionate as shit. Look, when I was frequenting a church really heavy, the pastor loved me so much, I was able to punch holes in the wall when
Oh,
I felt like some type of feeling that came over my body. When I
yes.
felt like I was going through something and that right song came on or that right word that somebody said or whatever hit me, I didn't jump up and down and dance. I used to hit on the wall until my goddamn arm went through it one day.
Listen, you
No
gotta
bullshit.
listen. However it goes, long as you get that breakthrough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
talk to me about this vibes and verses you got going on in
Vibes and verses. So you've been to see Roses.
Baltimore.
It is now my second home.
I love that place.
I love that place. John, I went in looking to rent space for the workshop. Okay. Um, because the workshop was supposed to be on hold for at least another year. I didn't feel like I was ready. I
Wow,
wasn't.
really?
I didn't feel like I was ready. I was sitting in my
Wow.
room one day because I was still building it and I was taking my time with it. That workshop had been in the works for give or take 3 years because it was supposed to be a book.
Okay.
So I
Gotcha.
said, but I want to do the book and I want to do the workshop to shop the book, make them a thing. And it was a whole plan. I was sitting here one day looking at it, working on the book, and Spirit said, do the workshop now. And I was like, now? Like now?
Right. Right.
But the book not done. Spirit said now. So I said, oh shit, I've learned to listen.
Right.
Because I had that same conversation with Spirit about holiday. And I was like, look, I don't know how much money this is about to cost. I don't know. Spirit said move. And holiday paid for itself on my release night. So I've learned to listen to the Spirit. So I said, okay, the workshop. All right, damn, I guess I got to find a place to do the workshop. But where do you do something like this? That's not boring. That's not a library. I don't want to do it at a church. I don't want to. Where do I take this? So I started looking at venues. I had reached out to all the Black-owned venues I knew. Nobody called me back. I had a homeboy, good brother, Tyree, was reaching out to me a while before this happened. Like, hey, I got a venue. I want to tap into the whole spoken word thing, blah, 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 blah. I reached out to him that week. No response. I was like, let me just go on his page and see if he came across C Roses, followed the page on Instagram. He was the last person that I called. Mm-hmm. And again, no other Black venue owners called me back. I was like, I'm gonna have to get these other folk my money. I don't really want to, right. But it is what it is. Because Spirit said move. He called me back, and the customer service on the phone was excellent. And then he said to come the next day. You like it, we can set it up. I go the next day and try not to run over time. You good. Little backstory. Because of some past traumatic experiences, I'm not always comfortable in a room with men that I don't know. Mm-hmm. Hell, sometimes I ain't comfortable in a room with men that I do know. We're gonna be, keep it a whole 100. And I got in the building. In the moment I stepped in the building, I felt safe in my spirit. I felt safe. I felt comforted and quieted. And I was just like, ooh. Okay. And then yourself, you don't expect to see what you're going to see when you get on the other side of that door. So that had taken me, and then the comfort had taken me, and I was like, oh, we're doing this. Hey, this is happening here. I got the full tour, and he was like, yeah, sister, so if you want to book, I was like, oh, we booking. We're going to lock this in now. And yeah, so I booked the space. And just because I am who I am, I like to keep in contact with the people that I connect with. When I feel like you got a good spirit, I'm going to check in on you. I want to know that you're okay. I want to talk to you. I want to rap to you. And he, Brother C had mentioned how he wanted to tap into our world. And I was like, just let me know. When you're ready, it's a go. Mm-hmm. He gave me the green light. And we looked, came up with some names and settled on vibes and verses. And honestly, today, that is probably one of the best partnerships I've ever had. I let him do his thing creatively, and he trusts me to do my thing. And Vibes and Verses is everything. Everybody had spoken life into it and longevity over it. Mm-hmm. Our first night, we had artists come down from from York, PA, to perform. They killed. Our second one, we had somebody come down from Toronto. He killed. The reach is everything. Tomorrow is going to be awesome.
Yes, I can't wait.
Awesome. I was like, I need a co-host because I can't introduce myself, and I can't, I got a feature too. So let me reach out to my good brother, see what he's doing.
And I'm so humbled and I appreciate it.
I'm so glad. I say, yeah, this is getting ready to be up. But and I can't imagine it any other place but C Roses.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't imagine it anywhere. It can't go down anywhere else but C Roses, and that's where we're gonna be at for a while.
It is a beautiful
It
space.
is.
It's a
It
beautiful space.
is.
And that room that you did the workshop in is, I mean, the whole space is beautiful, but that room is so elegant. Like you
Yes.
can see the
Yes.
vision, you
Yes.
know. I looked at I when you told me where the space was, I think I looked at it online or you had pictures up of it. And I was impressed then. I'm like, dang, the light,
Yeah.
it just looked
That's I
the
always say you gotta
lighting.
come see for yourself. You gotta come and see it for yourself. It's an experience all by itself from the time you walk through the doors.
And
Yeah.
you do so this is a event that you're doing annually. Is it twice a month or once a month?
Vibes and Verses is twice a month, every second and fourth Thursdays from 7 to 11. We do a happy hour, kind of, kick back, whatever, from 5:30 to 6:30. DJ, it's BYOB. We got food vendors, we got vendors, and it's just love. It's an experience. I won't I won't minimize it to just an open mic because it's so much more than that.
Right,
So that's
right.
why if you see on all the flyers, it's an open mic experience
Mhm.
because it just is. I've never in all my years of hitting stages, I've never had this vibe. And I appreciate him for allowing me to create the vibe and be in tune with me enough to trust that together we can make some magic. And we have so far. So this being the first one of 2022, I'm a feature. I'm gonna bring y'all poems. I'm gonna do my best to make sure everybody is well and good. I know you gonna bring it hosting, and it's gonna be a good goddamn night.
It's going to be a wonderful night.
It is.
I already feel it. I know it's going to be a wonderful night. You are a wonderful person, Shamise, inside and
Thank
out. You have a
you.
wonderful spirit.
Thank you.
And I'm like you. When I meet people that I feel as though I can connect with, that's it's
Mm-hmm.
a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like to tap into them as well, especially when they're like-minded and doing some of
Mm-hmm.
the same things that I'm doing or aspiring to.
Mm-hmm.
I learn from everybody that's around me. I don't care
Yeah.
who it is. I
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah.
There's so many poets all over the DMV that I've talked to that have inspired me, or the way each one of us is so goddamn different in the delivery
Mm-hmm.
and the way that we spit our shit. It's just it's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and I love it. So before we get out of here, share one more poem for us and then tell us how we can follow you and what you got going on again tomorrow. One more thing.
Okay. One more. I decided about 20 minutes ago that I was just going to use tonight. Um, use y'all as a sounding board for my newer pieces. So that's what we're doing.
Right.
That's what we're doing here. And while I'm looking for this piece in particular, I can be found and followed on Instagram at sjspeaks111. That's sjspeaks111. Also visit www.rvaproject.com for coaching services, event planning, coordinating services, encouragement. If you just want wellness check-ins, join the list, join the family because we love it. We do it because we love people. Um, yeah. All right, I think I'm going to do my sister's poem because that's my sweetheart. That is my baby.
Shout out to Cassandra Noble, says she can't wait to check us out.
Yes, come on.
Thank you for tuning in, sis. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a wonderful evening.
Come on.
And you know what? While you're looking for that too, I'm gonna ask you one question too. How do you feel about because I used to be hard on myself about this, and I've learned to stop and just let it go. But if I'm live somewhere in spaces doing poetry, I try to have it memorized, right? But how do you feel about people reading from their phone or their paper or whatever. I had the privilege of listening and going to see Gil Scott Heron's daughter do poetry, right?
Yes.
She was off the oh my
Her father was bad. Come
yeah,
on.
of course.
Listen,
Of
I'm gonna
course.
tell you, there are certain artists I get attached to their work in their person. When I actually have a poem called Bombs, because that when he died, I cried. I sat at my dining room table and I released,
Mm-hmm.
and it was bad. But I value him so much, so much. So I can only imagine. Why didn't you take me with you, John?
And she's doing her poetry, and some of it she knows by heart, but it was so much that she did like 2 hours because she's sharing stories about her father and how he raised her and things that she went through. And reading it and reciting it from her memory, it was all just beautiful to me. Like
Yeah.
I used to be so hard on it and be like, if when I really get into it, because at that time I loved poetry, but I wasn't writing as much. And everything that I'm doing now wasn't even a vision yet. It wasn't even a thought yet back then.
It's something about when you can get locked in, but I'm very transparent. I don't have the mental space to
Yeah,
memorize
it's a lot.
a full
Right.
set. I don't. And depending on how I am about the piece, if it's a very deep, close, personal piece to me, memorizing is easy. Anything else is a task, and I gotta really, really work at it. My partner just asked me the other day, like, won't you just read something from your phone? I don't like having things in my phone because I don't stay still when I'm upset. Me reading now and I'm sitting down, I'm stationary, is completely different than what y'all gonna get tomorrow. I don't tend to like to have things in my hand. Look, however you gotta deliver it,
Right.
you know, because I don't know, I might feel like I want to test out a new piece tomorrow and it's in my phone. So y'all gonna get this T-Mobile work. But there are other pieces I need to fully lock into. I can't have nothing on my hand. Another one of my little things when I feature, I tend to not like to have shoes on. I need to feel a certain kind of free and comfortable. And sometimes it depends on like how much time you have to prepare. So I say don't feel bad. However you got to do it, get it done. Because listen, I break out a book in a heartbeat if I had to.
Right.
I don't like it because I don't like to have anything in my hands. But shit, I got 1,001 thoughts in my head at one time. I ain't finna try to memorize no 8-poem set. I'm not even
right. That's crazy, right?
I'm not gonna stress myself out like that.
Right.
But yeah. Into this piece. I wrote this about my sister. God bless her. This woman is just a blessing in my whole life. And no, my mama ain't birthed her, but blood couldn't make us no closer. Couldn't. Okay. Try not to cry too, because I love her. She reminds me to keep my crown in place.
Gotcha.
Always manages to find it whenever I lose faith. I'm slightly older, but she keeps me in a child's place, meaning she reminds me to have fun, to unapologetically live life. She's a bomb-ass mother, daughter, friend, and wife. I call her sister. I'll go to war for and beside her, so never play with that one and never get it twisted. That's my heart. Wondering how I did life without her before, and blessed to know I don't have to do it without her no more. She most times the wind beneath my wings, graciously handling everything life brings, be it fail or flowers. She wears her power in her walk, strutting without struggle, and I listen when she talks, because she be saying something when she talks. We laugh about everything, but when it comes to us, she don't play about nothing. Her loyalty is unmatched. And she be unbothered by winds, because she the storm. Shapeshifter, always ready to take on new form. She a constant rebirth, a hustler, and sometimes my only team. I call her sister, but you better call her queen. So that's my poem about my baby.
I love it.
I love her down. It's a blessing how you come across people, tribe. Cause shit, I met you in the backyard, and I ain't letting you go.
Right.
I don't plan on.
Right.
I ain't
I
laughing.
remember. I remember. I
Yeah,
do. I remember. And shout out to my brother Kevin Curry. I met him, God, like 2017, 2018. And that brother, man, is such a powerful dude.
yeah.
He's a
I did.
humble brother. Um, he, I've done a lot of things with him, and I don't know. He helped me to see a lot of things that I was doing, and reminded me of what I was doing and the way I was doing it, and how
Mm-hmm.
he noticed it, or how it may have helped him or
Mm-hmm.
inspired him. You know what I mean? Humble as hell, man. Like that dude, I'm telling you, I love that guy. He's a good guy. So I know what you mean when you're around good people. Like I said,
Yeah.
I found out about that event I met you at through Kevin. You know,
Yeah.
I met Lady J. Here I am with my own. I was trying to figure out how the hell am I going to do um, open mics with the COVID, because I
Yeah.
used to do them at Glory Days, right? And then 2020, when the COVID hit, I'm like, damn, how am I? And Kevin is the one that tapped me into Lady J. And I
Yeah.
met Lady J, and then it went from there. So it's like, it's real when you got people around you or
Yeah.
people that you meet who may not even be family, who
Yeah.
speak life into you
Yeah.
and support you. You be a
Mm-hmm.
fool not to
That's
keep
why I
it
always say my
moving.
tribe's strong as hell. I ain't got no worries.
You
I ain't
be
got
a
no worries.
you be
And
a
I will
fool
say
not to.
today, I do. You, Kevin, and Lady J are probably three of the best interviewers. I will sit and talk with y'all for hours. I love it. Oh, and Nate, he's dope too. I yeah, will sit and talk with y'all for hours because y'all are good at what you do. This yeah,
I
I love it. And
appreciate
I
that, sir.
appreciate the platform.
Absolutely.
I will be back as many times as you as you want me to be back. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
I'll definitely have you back. I can't wait to link up tomorrow. I am looking
Yeah,
forward to it. Everybody,
I
Shamise,
can't
Lady
wait.
Jacobs, y'all want to follow her on every social site that you can put your hands on. Get her book, Holy Day. It's on Amazon right now. Go and get that ASAP.
Hmm.
And also,
Hmm.
whatever else that she's about to release, you definitely want to get it. All right.
Yes,
And
yes,
log on and go on her page and check out this event that we're going to be at tomorrow, because she is selling tickets for that. So
yes. Hmm.
I appreciate you, sis. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you
Appreciate
for
you
all that
back.
you do. Thank you for all that you do. Before I go, like I say to everybody else out here, we must bless other people if we want
Yes,
to stay blessed.
every
In
time.
order to be blessed, we must bless somebody else. I
Mhm.
wholeheartedly believe that, and that's how I live. So appreciate you, sis. I'll see you tomorrow. Be safe out here.
All right.
Okay.